I am here.
And trust you can hear us well.
Yep, I hear
Okay.
you just fine.
Okay, super. Well, safe travels. Let's talk weeds. Not the kind that grow in funny different directions.
This is,
Welcome, Kyle.
this is a new person
Yep.
during budget. This is his first experience with us.
I actually was here last year for it as well. Yep. So I did it last year. So this is my second one, but my first full one by myself. So, but thank you, Commission. Kyle Austin with the Cass County Weed Board. Again, I'd like to just thank you guys for the commission for your years of supporting the Cass County Weed Board and our fight against noxious weeds, mind you, in the county. And so hopefully I've got a pretty simple, straightforward budget for you today. We just look under the expenses that we have. Most of them are just kind of small increases or decreases, kind of just adjusting things where we weren't spending all the money, adding to things where we might have needed more. The biggest one you see is we took from the other reimbursements and put that into our just operational. That the other reimbursements is our landowner assistance program payments. That was the only thing in it, so I thought it would fit under operational as well. Otherwise, our biggest other expenses are our contract spraying, that 318,000. That's kind of stayed the same. Feel that we're sitting pretty good with a budget there to pay our contract sprayers in the next year, and then our chemical budget is 185,000. That one's also was able to keep that the same, mostly because we had really favorable purchasing this year for chemicals. So we've got a good stockpile of chemicals going to the 2026 season. So I feel very good that we'll have enough funding to be able to purchase all the chemicals we need for the county. Otherwise than that, if you look, the total other expenses, we were able to actually go down 0.5%. So we were able to keep the budget even and even just lower it a little bit in that area. So I'll guess with that, I'll take any questions you guys have.
Questions? Commissioner Flacco. Commissioner
Questions,
Brightman.
but I do have a couple comments. Number one, the weed board contracts with the city of West Fargo to provide them with services as well, but as a result, the West Fargo has a representative on our weed board. I mention it because we've been approached by the city of Fargo, who has their own weed board, but I'm assuming that they're considering to try to save money by doing away with that. But that would require our acceptance and providing them with services at the cost. Well, we would generate additional taxes if we service the city of Fargo. Is that correct?
I believe that's how it would
Right.
work, yes.
But the board would have to go from 5 to 7 people as a result by statute requirements. Now, the negotiations are still ongoing, and I'm assuming that it has something to do with their budget problems.
Is it City of Fargo or West?
Yes,
Fargo?
city of Fargo. Yeah, West Fargo already has a representative on that board.
So could one argue that define the level of the services?
That would be a negotiated item, I suspect.
Yeah, and we haven't, yeah, when we talked about it in the past, it would sound like we would work similar with what we're doing with West Fargo. Well, I should say what we used to do with West Fargo. They had their own division still, and so like if there was a weed complaint, if it came to me, like the city of West Fargo used to handle it. Now they don't. I handle West Fargo, but Fargo would still have a not an official weed board, but a department that would handle it. So then things would come to me and then go to the department. City of Fargo would still handle them. So I don't think in the talks we've had in the past, the actual workload wouldn't go up a ton. We just basically, the City of Fargo would then fall under Cass County noxious weed rules because they're not the same. The rules that are throughout Cass County and West Fargo are under the Cass County Weed Board. If Fargo has been under the City of Fargo Weed Board, and so the rules are similar but a little bit different.
Just alert you folks to the future.
So will that be a potential commission items in the future if that
I
changes?
would think so. Yeah, that would be. I wouldn't think we could do that without this commission's approval.
No. Other questions?
Get rid of Palmer Amaranth.
We're
I don't like that guy.
we're working on it. We haven't found it in the county since 2023, so it's looking all right now.
Commissioner Flacco?
Do we get any direct appropriations from the state of North Dakota?
We get money through the Department of Transportation for doing the roads, and then we have got money in the past from the Department of Ag, but we don't always.
The reason why I asked, Mr. Chairman, is if, when we look at the 2027 session, if we should consider seeing if we could loosen up some of those funds for the registration for herbicides that are paid into the state, which, total a lot of money, which are in many ways kind of not really obligated. And this seems like if it was based a little bit upon how much we use or buy or whatever, that would seem to have some semblance of fairness to it. So this is a thought as we move into 2027 on our consideration list.
Any other questions, comments? Entertain a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion? And then we'll take the roll.
Commissioner Flacco,
Aye.
Commissioner Breitling,
Yes.
Commissioner Vettel, Commissioner Grinberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Capitan,
Aye.
Commissioner Vettel,
Maybe muted, huh?
Sorry about that. Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, if Chris is ready, we'll go to Veterans Affairs.
Well, good afternoon, Commission Chair, Commissioners. I'm not going to try to paint a rosy picture here, but Cass County Veteran Services is doing real well. It's kind of the other side of the house, so I'll just bring that up right away. We just keep doing what we can control, obviously. Last week, Sheila and I attended a conference, and there's a lot of bigwigs there from the VA, so the Veterans Health Administration and Benefit Administration. And right now, unfortunately, there's lots of backlogs, and we're seeing that with a lot of frustration and phone calls that we get and emails and things. So we're doing our best too, and I always practice, mental health for our employees as well. But right now, this last year, we're getting hit up pretty good with just a lot of changes that the feds have been coming down with. On the state level, we're doing fairly well. We did get a $250,000 grant that's going to be controlled by the state to help with our partner program called Supported Services for Veteran Families. That program is on the chopping block. So that was something that Lonnie and I worked on. Commissioner from North Dakota Department of Veteran Affairs, Lonnie, he's a fighter, so he didn't make a lot of friends this year. I'm sure you heard that. But we tried our best. And then we worked on also a bill to keep sharks out of here. People that aren't accredited. So just in my memo, all of us are accredited. We do this job for free and a passion for helping veterans. It's just unfortunate that some folks will come in kind of under us and charge up to 5 times. It's just ridiculous what they're doing. So they see a dollar sign on our head and they go from there. And it's just something we don't need around any of the states, especially here in North Dakota. But we did have a couple experiences with some veterans there that lost 30% of their pay on that one. So we'll keep fighting that fight. last year alone, we did about 1,000 claims. North Dakota did 2,500 through last year. So we're looking pretty good there. The biggest things is looking ahead as we plan. So we have a stand down coming up. It was kind of a goal of mine when I took over to do some more outreach. So we don't have folks coming in saying, I never knew your office. I never knew where to go. We've been pushing real hard on the radio. You know, anything we can do to get out. Callan's been great on getting that stuff out in the media and things like that, doing interviews. And recently we're on the radio talking about the VFW and the NAC VSO, so the National Association. They had an MOU that pretty much cross the credits and make sure that 2,200 of us will keep fighting the good fight for free and getting those earned benefits for our veterans. And then when I say those earned benefits, that's where a lot of folks get scared right now. They're talking about a lot of cuts, unfortunately. And the ranking is 0 to 100%. And there's been some discussion that they'll just wipe out 0 to 10, 10 to 20, and just start with 30. Or if you're retirement age and you're on IU, it's called, unemployability, then that benefit will lose at 66 and a half. So you can't double dip, so to speak. So they're just looking at ways to, you know, cost effectiveness. But again, it's a veteran's livelihood we're working on here. So we've had a lot of unfortunate things happen with grants and housing, and we're kind of that conduit to everything else. And when there's no funding there, it's been hard. But this stand down coming up, hopefully we'll get some more folks into healthcare before some bigger changes come. And then that one too with, you know, working with the North Dakota Minnesota Honor Flight. That's a big passion that we've had in the past and done various things for them. So we'll keep working with them, and hopefully we can, there's a 4-year backlog right now on that. And unfortunately, a lot of veterans are Vietnam veterans in that group, and they're passing away at a rapid level right now. We had a couple even this week. So it's, when I took this position, I never knew that'd be so much grief and from the families, and a lot of death just with these presumptive conditions. So I don't want to be a Debbie Downer here, but it's been tough. You know, you see a veteran in our office one week, and the next week you're meeting with the widow. It's happened on a couple of occasions of late. So it's really tough sometimes. And then I got passed on an email from the VA where on the bottom of it, it says, you know, they're doing all these great things, but it says, this is an exciting time at the VA. And I'll have to disagree with that. And, you know, it's been really hard. And they're talking about 30,000 workers cut by the fiscal year, so that would be October 1. And we don't really know the effects in the Fargo VA yet. So, you know, I come up here with my head high. We're working on it. We're doing the best we can. But yeah, it's definitely been a rough year for most of us here. But here's the good thing about the budget. It's gone down. Yeah, so that's always a good thing. We're not really asking for much, and it's gone down, I think, what, 3% or something. So I'm a social worker. I'm not really good at numbers, but thankful to Sarah over here. I always give her props, and Randy's staff is always really good to work with, and I appreciate those definitely helping out. But yeah, I'll entertain any questions.
Commissioner Capitan.
I have to reiterate everything that he said, but there is one story that I'd like to pass on and give his office a bunch of accolades. There was a widow that came in, lost her husband, and she was told by the VA, once he's passed away, you lose all your VA benefits, all your veteran benefits. And she came in, that was her livelihood. She came in and addressed these guys, and they got her a flat amount because whoever told her that was wrong, number one. And this was over a period of time. They got her over $300,000 in a one-time payment to reinstate her in veterans benefits. But that's some of the things that these guys do that the veterans office don't even realize. They told her, no, once your husband's gone, you're dead in the water, which is not true. But They just didn't want to do the work.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, we had another similar incident too with a veteran. The VA lost her paperwork and she was 10% and they just stopped paying her. That's kind of the stuff we get into. And we found her paperwork, we had it, and then she got about $50,000 in back pay and she didn't have health insurance and now she does. So stories like that really hit hard. You know, these are people's lives and it's just, it's a daily occurrence in our office. So I definitely appreciate all your help and we'll keep doing that. And then with this stand down, you guys are more than welcome to come down to Broadway Square. We made sure to tell them to keep the sprinklers off that day. So that's was a good thing, but working with downtown and our partners, it's really great to, hopefully we'll get some more people signed up for healthcare.
I understand you've heard of a guy named Rocky Schneider. Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Chair, Chris, appreciate your involvement both on the state and national level. A couple of us at the NACO Ledge Conference or earlier part of the year heard from the VA Secretary at that point. There's really a focus on talking about looking at administrative overhead and other efficiencies that, that they felt they could find. Coming off of this conference, I'm guessing you may have heard some of the same things. Presume that you shared some of the real world challenges that you and the veterans that you're helping are facing. What was the feedback? Is there, was there an explanation or some hope given that we're working a process?
Right.
This will turn quickly as far as services delivered. What was that interchange or exchange like?
I appreciate the question. Thanks, Robert. Yeah, so we had our April conference too, and I attended that where Secretary Collins was speaking. And unfortunately, that's where a lot of those cuts came in. Right now, it's hiring judges for the main thing, appeals right now. There's a huge backlog on appeals, and there's legacy appeals that haven't been seen. So that's really clogging up these lanes. So they're trying to hire judges, but that's a 9-month process to hire a judge and make sure that they're certified and ready to go to make those decisions. So that's really kind of, I guess, where the backlog starts. And then he talked about cutting staff, which would be those administrative parts, but we've already seen those that haven't made the probationary time. So those folks, unfortunately, have got let go. But yeah, it's been definitely a struggle with that. But they keep ensuring us that nothing has changed, but we see it every day with, claims used to be 120 days. Now we're saying 180, 270 days just for a standard claim. And the only way to put emergency notice on these claims, or, if they're over 75 years old, or if they have a terminal illness, and these are claims that are just sitting there right now in a queue where they don't have the trained people to do their job. And he's trying to speed that up, which is great. But then again, that's where more mistakes will come in, and we've been seeing those too. So we've been doing a lot of what it's called a higher level review. So if the VA makes a mistake, then we put our paperwork in, and then that sits there too. So it's just a big waiting game right now because they don't have enough staff. So it's kind of the yin and the yang. Like they're letting staff go, but we still need proper staff that's trained to make those decisions, and then they're life-changing decisions. So yeah, it's pretty tough. And then they're talking about cutting health insurance too. So I wish I had better news.
One decision we're going to consider tomorrow is the option that currently exists in North Dakota Century Code for us to dedicate mills to certain entities. One of those is your operation. If we agreed to, I think it's a 0.4 mil for your present budget request. Any comments or opinions on how that would be viewed in your clientele, knowing that County Commission has dedicated a funding source for the support of veterans?
Yeah, I mean, I know for a fact that it'd make a lot of people on that waiting list really happy. Right now, like I said earlier, there's a huge backlog. And when I first started this job too, I got a call and I had about 6 hours to decide if I wanted to go on it. And my wife was the boss and still is, so I'll put that on the record. So I had to ask her if I could go on the honor flight, and she's like, yes, go ahead. And now I'm just getting kind of goosebumps right now, but just with the folks that fought in World War II, we had a veteran there, a lot of Vietnam veterans. It'd mean the world to them just to go and visit DC and see history. The flight I was on, a basic training, people hadn't seen each other since basic training, and then reconnected on the flight. Then they had 3 brothers that were there, and I still stay in touch with one of the veterans I was on. But yeah, it'd mean the world to us in that organization because it's going to a good cause where, you know, our veterans fought for our freedom, and that would be a nice thank you with hotels and buses and food and meals. It's just a really great organization to back, and they definitely need it right now, and they're trying their best to get that backlog ousted out of there. But yeah, I think they're having 6 flights this calendar year, so they're trying to get as many and as much funding if they can to get going, and I just mean the world to us and to them.
Oh, Commissioner Brightling?
The honor flight system has a large contribution from the private sector. Many organizations throughout Cass and Clay counties donate to that program. It had been my hope that we would be able to include in the veterans' budget this year a public portion of that cost analysis. However, what the legislature did is going to preclude it at least this year. I don't see how we could possibly add an additional item to the budget for that purpose. Although it would be great if we could.
Yeah, very good.
Oh, go ahead.
Your microphone. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Commissioner Breitling, we do have $20,000 for the honor flight in the budget. It is under the commission items, so you will review that when you go through the different projects. I hope
Thank you.
that works.
That's helpful.
Mr. Captain, was that your point?
That's just what I was gonna bring up to the commissioner, that there is 20,000 in it this year for the honor flight.
Yep, and I appreciate Commissioner Breitling.
I told him to put in 50, but
I didn't have my hearing aids in. I heard you wrong. Sorry about that. I know I appreciate you, Commissioner Breitling, your passion too with that. It's really great. And with Commissioner Capitan as well. It's a really great cause. And just seeing the smiles on those faces and the volunteers that make it happen is really great.
Mr. Captain, you have a motion?
I would move to approve the veterans' budget.
Second.
Seconded. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll have Taylor take the roll.
Commissioner Capitan,
Aye.
Commissioner Grinberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Flacco,
Aye.
Commissioner Breitling,
Yes.
Commissioner Vettel.
Aye.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for what you
Appreciate it.
do. It makes a difference.
I appreciate
We-
that.
We appreciate that.
Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you.
I admire your passion and your commitment.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
There she is. Hi, Christy.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Well, no, let's be nice. That's probably one of the nicer things I've been called. All right, well, good afternoon, Mr. Chair and members of the commission. I really don't have anything overly exciting about my budget. I'll do an overview first of 2024-25 up to date. The Cass County Coroner's Office has 4 full-time death investigators, 3 of which are extremely active in taking. They basically take call Monday through Friday, and then we alternate weekends and, of course, holidays. But we are on call 24 hours a day. Something more unique about Cass County than any other county in North Dakota right now is that we do investigate all unattended deaths. So because we've got the means to do so, we've got the staff, we do go out on all unattended deaths, even as in assisted living. So that's something that we are quite proud of, and that follows really the national standards of what death investigation is. We also have, because of the funds that were allocated, we do have that vehicle along with power cuts. And we got that so that we could relieve the ambulance and funeral homes from doing removals. With that being said, we do have what would be under revenue, but it is invoiceables for our removals that we do in place of the funeral homes and ambulance. We do invoice for the removals as well as for the reimbursement of the body bags. And I can get into that a little bit more when we go over our revenue line. We purchased within the last year a new fingerprinting device that was to the tune of $16,000. We are now doing positive identification, digital fingerprinting on all of our decedents that we bring over to our facility and release. And we continue to be busy with the American Board of Medical Legal Death Investigators. I'm currently an officer on that board. And we also have all of our investigators certified. So we're the only county right now in North Dakota that has all investigators certified by the American Board of Medical Legal Death Investigators. For the next budget, there are the changes where we looked like that we could do any decreasing. We were really slim, and by that I mean we are already at a smaller budget for 4 full-time employees along with a driving staff. We hover roughly around $700,000 for our budget annually. Historically, we've come in under that budget. And the areas that we're looking to decrease really are going to be in our training and education. So if you look under line item, we do have a big decrease and when I say big decrease, it might not be a big decrease if you're talking about the sheriff's office, but for our office, because we have such a small budget, to take $4,000 away from training and education really impacts us greatly because we aren't going to be doing any of that next year. We've also decreased our cost in seminar registration. I did increase our investigations lines, and that's primarily, I increased that about 2%, and that's primarily because we expect that inflation with body bags to go up every year, and it does go up a little bit, but we want to have that cushion there should we need that equipment. The biggest change for us for next year is going to come in computer equipment and PC software. We do need a new printer. We got our colored printer, I believe it was in 2015 when we first moved into the office. I don't think we've had anything updated since then. It may have even been 2013, but we are due for a new copier. So we did increase that line item about $5,000. And then with the software, our software that we use for our database hovers around $6,000 a year, and then our fingerprinting software hovers around $2,000 annually. We are also looking at, we had a $60,000 line item for 2025 that we were going to outfit the back room of our facility and create more space. We're in the process of potentially gaining more space within Fargo-Cass Public Health, so we moved half of that budget over into 2026. So we have $30,000 that we can work with if we need to for the new space area. I do intend to budget next year to do any renovations that we would need to in that space, which would be pretty minimal. But that is where the difference came in with that as well. So in short, just to move along, in respect of your time, we don't have any new requests for the next year. We're cutting back primarily in our education and training, increasing a little bit with the PC software and computer equipment. And we will not be hiring any new staff, which we do need, but we will wait until 2027 to do that. And I stand for any questions.
Appreciate your team approach and working with us as we go through our first year of defining what the new normal is. Would it be helpful if we put a couple $1,000s back in training?
Oh, I think it would be very helpful, yeah. Like I said, we realize that it's not even a drop in the bucket when it comes down to the overall budget, but again, for our department, because we do run on such a small budget, if we could go back to, I think I had 10,000 and we went down to 6. If we were able to go back to that, it would, I know my staff would greatly appreciate it, and I think it would keep us up to speed on being able to perform at a high standard.
That back to 6?
I think I have it down to, I'm at 6. We
Okay, I see that now.
Yep. And then the seminar registration, again, not a big deal in the overall budget, but we went from 3,500 down to 2,000.
Just a point as I was listening and thinking, and we'll leave that up to your portfolio chair to.
I'll have to sweet talk him.
You better quit fast.
Sweet
Commissioner
talk.
Captain, do you have a question?
Oh, I was looking at the portfolio guy here to kick it up there.
Wilson, any comments?
I was just gonna ask a question sort of along the line with what you talked about. Are there continuing ed requirements that you would be sort of dipping into without something in line with what the chair suggested?
Yeah, my thought on this was if we needed to do virtual, we could try to find free online virtual training. Yes, that is something that we'd be looking at. More so importantly, though, I think it is the interaction that we have with other agencies when we do have in-person training, and just the skills and knowledge that we're bringing back, the things that we're learning. It's not the same, obviously, when you're doing things virtually, you're not getting that same bang for the buck, so to speak. But again, we would make do with whatever we needed to do our part.
I do have one question. Did you ever get your power cart? From about the same time that we had the vehicle in there, was there not a power cart? Your stretcher, so it only takes one person rather than 6?
Yep, so the current vehicle that we purchased, which took about 3.5 years, has 2 power cots. Something to keep in mind with that, and I do have it on my list of things to talk about, but again, I wanted to move through this fairly quickly, is with a recent tornado that we had, we didn't know what we were going to be dealing with when we went out to that scene. We were told that we had at least 2 deceased individuals, not realizing at the time that we had 3, but one of my staff members was able to come in and assist. We had both of our vehicles. One has the power cots, the other does not. But we were able to seamlessly, effortlessly handle that scene response because we did have those resources. So I would guess within the next 5 years, we're probably going to be asking for another vehicle. We have the current one going. We do a lot of transports up to Grand Forks right now. So we are getting a lot of miles on that. We're getting a lot of mileage out of that vehicle. No pun intended. That has been a very good thing for us, no doubt.
Mr. Flacco?
About 3 things probably.
3,
I can not do the kudos. I just want to, give public kudos to you and your staff for
Thank you.
the really, unfortunate but great work you did with the exhumation of the, gentleman who was, died in 1970-ish, and you exhumed him, got him identified, and, and did the work to, contact the next of kin. I mean, that's, unfortunate but important work. So,
Thank you.
again, my thanks at a commission meeting to you. And then a question maybe for Robert, are we nudging forward on the agreement for the rental space?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Flacco, yes. We got it. We have a draft lease agreement or MOU that State's Attorney Office put together as of Monday morning. We pushed that over to City for their review. Just in the last week and a half with a new emergency manager coming on board, we wanted to hold off just a bit to see if some of the potential space that was being offered up by the city would also be a good fit for that office, since it needs to be relocated. In one of his first decisions that was thrown at him, he provided some feedback to that, and so yeah, short answer, yes, we're pushing that forward. Have pushed a draft back to the city and look to wrap that up sooner than later, because we need to get the space outfitted for you.
And third and lastly, Mr. Chairman, I would move to approve the budget as presented, except I would add to the account of 40-15-701 education per diem to make that similar to the current year at $10,000, and then 40-15-702 seminar registration to also keep that at the current 2025 budget year amount at $3,500.
Second? Seconded. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll take the roll.
Commissioner Brightling,
Yes.
Commissioner Vettel,
Aye.
Commissioner Grinberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Capitan,
Aye.
Commissioner Flacco.
Aye.
Thank you. And before I leave, this seems like an appropriate time because I never get to see everybody, or I should say I don't see you all in person often, but I do want to appreciate all of the support from the commissioners. These past couple of years, I've had more support for our office than I think I've seen since I've been in office, and that goes back to 2001. So I appreciate everybody, and even if you're not agreeing with me, I still appreciate the involvement and feedback. And Sarah has been a huge help navigating me through a lot of things that probably a kindergarten could get through, but she's patient with me, so I appreciate that. And Chris Deary is also not here right now, but he is helping with that, with the unidentified male who is now identified. We're looking at, he's looking at getting a headstone. So with proper identification on there. So it's a great team. Brandy, I'm gonna miss you. But I'm very proud to work for Cass County. So thank you very much.
Next, we have emergency management and a gentleman by the name of Cole Baker. Welcome to your first.
Mr. Chair, Council,
budget.
thank you for having me.
How many days on the job now?
Oh boy, this makes 9, solid 9 days. From my understanding of the budget, it's largely unchanged from the previous year. I think there was less for, I should have wrote this down. Mr. Wilson, can you help me out here? Expenditures, there's less for expenditures here in 2026, largely because of what was done in the previous years, getting people trained and getting them prepared for whatever disaster might come. being here 9 days, I haven't known much about the budget, but
Certainly understandable.
I-
Maybe,
I-
maybe to relieve the anxiety, if that's the
Thank you so
case,
much.
just share your first impressions.
My first impressions on the job is this is a very well-rounded community. Everybody works in conjunction with each other from Fargo, West Fargo, Moorhead, Clay County, and myself. The communities that surround Cass County, Page, Enderlin, Castleton, Kindred, all of them, they seem to work very closely with us. There's a very good relationship before I even got here. I've received several calls since day one from a majority of the communities in the surrounding area, and they feel more than comfortable with coming and talking to me just outright. They don't even know who I am. I'm the new man on the block, and everybody already feels comfortable coming to talk to me, and that is accredited to the people, Amanda and Jim, that were here before me.
We're glad to have you on board, and as I said, welcome home. You're in North Dakota, and you moved your family back with this opportunity, and off and running. Tomorrow's 10 days.
Tomorrow is 10 days. Soon it'll be a month, and hopefully after that, 10 years.
Mr. Chair, just jump in, and the previous assistant emergency manager really finalized the budget and presented that before she was done, and so that was taken care of. And just again, reviewing the budget really decreases across the board overall. There are a couple of equipment related things that appear in this year's budget that I didn't see that were not there last year, but it looks like I want to say that was related to some of the triple RDC equipment or the towers that are county responsibility. And so it's overall it's a decreased budget. Again, this is one of your smaller, more straightforward budgets. Doesn't move a whole lot year to year, but it's in good shape.
Questions for Cole? Motion, maybe? Commissioner
Motion to
Captain?
approve the budget?
Second.
Seconded. Discussion? Commissioner Vettel, any comments?
No, I fully support what they're doing right now, and I think there's obviously it's great having a very well qualified person in the new position, and looking forward to seeing what he can do.
Thank you. Commissioner Captain?
One thing that, I hate to send you off on a different county, but Brett Lambert, who's the emergency manager and also the mayor of Wapton, emergency manager of Richland County, he's been in the business for 30 plus years. If you don't know him, get to know him. Pick his brain.
Back when I was with the Department of Water Resource, I worked with Brett quite a bit.
Okay. I've always referred to him as an ambulance chaser, but he does his job fairly well.
Okay, we'll take the roll.
Commissioner Grinberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Capitan,
Aye.
Commissioner Breitling,
Yes.
Commissioner Bettel,
Aye.
Commissioner Flacco.
Aye.
And next we have hazardous plan response. Maybe Mr. Wilson wanted to cover that, highlights for, well, pretty small.
I'm not familiar with that one. I did not have that one on my
Let Ms. Madriga
on my
do it.
plan.
Let Ms. Madriga do it.
Here it is.
I'm going to pass the torch to Ms. Sarah Heinley.
There you go.
Yep.
We're torch passers.
No, that's it. Yeah, absolutely.
The hazardous response.
You're good.
Is
You're good,
a
Cole.
fund that was specifically set up to house a certain grant that they were using to do hazardous response materials cleanup. So that's what it's actually for. The only time it's ever been used is when the old emergency manager would actually say what to designate out of there. It might be something we would want to look into for the future for Cole, since he probably doesn't know a lot of history on the ground.
$8,000. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Question? none, we'll take the roll.
Commissioner Capitan,
Aye.
Commissioner Vettel,
Aye.
Commissioner Grinberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Flacco,
Aye.
Commissioner Brightling.
Yes.
We are going to take a 5-minute recess for any restroom ambitions. And back at 10:02.
see you're still with us.
I am.
Next up will be information technology. Mr. Henderson.
Thank you, Commissioner Chair, Commissioners. There will be 4 budgets here presented today. We'll go ahead and start with 2 of the easiest ones, which are at the end of my memo. I'm not sure what page they would be on for you guys. But the first would be our 502 Technology Trust, if that's all right.
Please.
Technology Trust is primarily used as an in and out transfer for billing. When we do all of our Microsoft licensing, our hardware purchasing and things like that, we initially purchase that through the Technology Trust and bill that back to the departments at a later date. It's really an in-out kind of thing, so you'll notice the revenues and expenses basically match right up. There's really not much to that one, it has not changed. So I'll stand for any questions on the Technology Trust.
Other questions?
And do you want to do these as a big chunk or a per thing approval,
Let's,
Commissioner?
I'll take a motion on this one.
Motion to approve.
Second? Second. Discussion? And then we'll take the roll.
Commissioner Capitan,
Aye.
Commissioner Bettel,
Aye.
Commissioner Grinberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Flacco,
Aye.
Commissioner Brightling.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, thank you. We'll go to the next one, which is our 1804 ERP budget. This was the legacy AS400 budget, which has been reordered over. This one has not much in there at all. There are minimal changes for hardware level support and things like that. But as the 400 ages out, we're just keeping light support on that thing. We have not purchased any new hardware for it. We're simply maintaining updates. We are maintaining it primarily to meet data retention requirements, which we have 1 more year and we should be hitting the end on that requirement process there. After that, we're going to turn that box off, and since it's an AS400, it would probably outlive all of us in this room because those things are bulletproof. In addition to that, this is where our managed service contract for our existing HSO Dynamics service sits. That is a as you use it licensure of up to a maximum of 12 hours per month. We have that budgeted at the idea of us using that full 12, but frankly, we could probably cut it down. We have not utilized those services. To be blunt, when we do use them, we're not happy with them. We have been actively looking at alternatives, but this is a very narrow niche in our market at the moment.
So what kind of a number are we talking about?
If I remember that one correctly, it's currently sitting at around 100 and I had the wrong page open here. It was what, 140 on that one for consulting on 3309?
130.
130. We could realistically drop that down probably to around 60 reasonably, with the understanding that if something goes really bad, we'll be back here asking for money.
That's under the 1804 budget.
1804, yes. So it's a 3309 line item.
You're done with that then?
That's all for 1804. There's not much to that one.
Commission, what's your desire?
Move to approve.
Second.
Let's maybe drop the thing.
With a reduction of 60,000?
Yes.
Yes.
Who moved that? Flacco. Who seconded?
Yes.
Okay. Commissioner Vettel, do you understand the motion?
Yes, I do.
Any questions? Take the roll. Commissioner Captain.
With that reduction of 60,000 though, that's pending nothing goes bad, right?
That's pending nothing to go bad, but to be quite honest, we've learned through our time now with HSO that when we have to call them, it's usually us holding their hands to the solutions more than them helping us. So we are actively looking to find alternatives, but I feel comfortable with that. If something really goes bad, it's not going to only be us having that problem.
Commissioner Flacco?
Are we good in the front row? Are we good in the front row?
Oh, they were asking if you said a reduction or changing it to, and I said you said a reduction.
Reduction, yeah.
So it'll be 7.
Okay, I just want to make sure because I saw some.
Point of order. Quick question. Did that go 130 to 60 or 120 to 60?
130 to 70, yep.
Thank you.
Reduction of 60.
Okay.
Roll on this yet?
Nope. You've got two motions.
Take the roll.
Commissioner Brightling,
Yes.
Commissioner Bettel,
Aye.
Commissioner Grinberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Capitan,
Aye.
Commissioner Flacco.
Aye.
All right, next one's gonna be 1803, our GIS budget. The large change to this one is every 5 years, we do an update to the aerial imagery throughout the county. This is a critical update where we work together with the city of Fargo, cities of West Fargo, and the diversion to fly planes over the county, getting us great updates that are then fed into Triple RDC, into our GIS and theirs. Without doing these updates, we do not capture the large amount of changes and growth that are happening within our county. So I would just ask you to think of how many houses have gone up in Horace over the last 5 years and realize that right now we don't have aerial photos of those. We don't have obliques for those. This is our 5-year update on it. This is paying for our share of that. So city pays for their square footage, we pay for ours. We're a little bit bigger than them physically, so we have the largest chunk on it. We have spoken with all the involved parties. Just to be very transparent, they are going through the exact same process we are right now, so I can't speak for their budget discussions. However, we have received no communications that no one is not planning to do this kind of thing. But that would be my only caveat, that if city comes back and says, we're just not doing it this year, well, we ask the plane to please avoid the city of Fargo. It makes it a little rough because they go north, south, east, west kind of thing, so we'd have to figure out that cost breakdown.
Or we defer a year.
Deferring a year is an option, but I very highly worry about that solely because this is something that we do update on a routine schedule. And as we push this through, we feed this data to many other agencies who are also expecting that level of update. I really do worry about deferring a year because I worry about that becoming two and so on and so forth. We have grown so much during the last 5 years, particularly over the COVID periods and development, that we are currently missing a large amount of data.
Seems impractical that if Fargo doesn't do it, that we could still do it without them.
I don't believe they're not going to do it for the same reasons I just said, for reasons we should do it. I just simply state that because they have not passed their budgets yet, but I can't speak beyond that.
They're looking for a lot of money.
In my discussions with the GIS teams as well as Kay's discussions, that had never come up really as a concern. That had not been voiced, but it's always I don't make decisions for the city of Fargo's commission, so.
My only comment, and I hesitate to speak for Kyle, but I understand these updates are critically important when we get into flood fighting procedures as well, and mapping river flows.
Flood
and
fights,
number of-
sheriff's department relies upon these. Basically, this is the source of truth for mapping the parcel environment for all of our finance and property tax relies upon these. This is a critical source of truth.
Everybody's nodding their head, so do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. Chairman, one of the things I seem to have learned when we had the emergency, or when the sheriff's office had the emergency training, was how they can utilize things like this to figure out if there's a hostage situation in a home or a building, here's the layouts in or around that place, here's where people can get in at, here's the front door, the back door, all those kind of things that they need. I mean, they put up drones, but in the interim, I think they can help. You know, this is a helpful tool in terms of dealing with those unfortunate situations.
In addition to that, just think of how fast a tree grows in 5 years. So if you're basing your decisions based on a sapling that's now much taller, that changes things dramatically.
Trees in my backyard that haven't grown in 10 years.
Well, then, you know, I was just telling the wife, I was happy we planted this one tree because it hasn't grown in a couple of years, and the damn thing just grew 1.5 feet just to spite me, so. So I think I don't know if you have motions yet?
Yeah, I think we do, don't we?
Yeah, we just need a vote. Commissioner Bettel,
Aye.
Commissioner Grinberg, Commissioner Capitan,
Aye.
Commissioner Flacco,
Aye.
Commissioner Brightling.
Yes.
Now, this is where things get interesting.
Yep, so this will be budget 1801. The large scale change on 1801 is looking at line item 7414 with a $97,000 increase. This increase would be looking for the replacement of our existing phone system. For a little bit of history, it is all in the memo there. We updated our existing phone system in 2015 to the Avaya IP Office system and have been running on that ever since. We were not the only one who did this. State of North Dakota managed over to it. Some other large companies did as well. During that time, it has served us as well as a phone system can, but it is very much a product of its time. In 2024, Avaya announced that they were having the end of sale for our version of IP Office. And then they announced in 2027 it would be the end of manufacturer support. This system does rely upon dedicated hardware that lives currently within our network closets. With the end of manufacturer support coming, we're looking at buying things on eBay if stuff breaks kind of thing, which is not my favorite feel for a phone system. In addition to that, Avaya as a company themselves has gone through 2 Chapter 11 bankruptcies in the last year, the most recent being in 2023. They have decided and pivoted through their board of directors to be focusing mostly on cloud-forward phone systems and are partnering with various vendors such as RingCentral and others to provide these versus developing it themselves. What this all really means is we're on a bit of a dinosaur that does not have a future. Our phone system does the thing, is about the best thing I can say for it, but it is a firm product of its time. If I showed you the interface for the back end, you would think we're back in Windows 95 days because it has those lovely gray corners and stuff like that. What we're looking at doing is upgrading to a new modern solution, which is a cloud-based deployment. By having a cloud-based phone system, this allows us to not have on-premise hardware, meaning that a phone, be it a physical phone, be it the computer through a software application, be it a cell phone through an app, can access our phone system anywhere with a stable internet connection. So if you're at the lake, you have your laptop or your phone, you have your desk phone with you there as well. This will also change over how we are doing our existing phone lines and systems. Right now, we work through our local telco vendor to provide us with dedicated what are called trunks. A trunk is simply a line that provides you with one incoming or outgoing phone call at a time. We have trunks here at the courthouse, trunks over at the jail, and some at the highway too for survivability, meaning that if any of those sites goes down, we can still keep making calls across there. The downfall with these old legacy trunks is they charge our old friend long distance. I haven't personally paid long distance on a cell phone in the last 15 years, but we as a county pay long distance every month for our usage, and some months that is quite high. We are purposely buying at least 15,000 minutes of that monthly as a baseline, and when we go over, we pay per minute based on that. This is based on usage, so if you just think about it, everything that's not a 701, so anything we call into Moorhead, long distance. The new system we're proposing gets rid of that long distance fee for the continental United States, Canada, and Mexico. It goes to a flat system, giving us, again, the trunks, incoming, outgoing, but it includes all long distance fees in that right out the gate. So our average monthly goes from around a $5,000 bill to around $5,270. Or I'm sorry, $4,270. I had the wrong spreadsheet open. The downfalls of this, however, is our existing hardware, our existing phones and things like that is not compatible with the new system. It was designed for Avaya. It only works with Avaya. They are proprietary. So we would have to replace any handset with either a handset or more than likely a headset device or something like that to use it with a computer. What I've got quoting out is replacing things like to like with handset to handset with the hopes that this is over. We come back with a negative budget adjustment after we determine with our department heads and departments what they would like as the options. Beyond that, there is more to this here. Our total payback on our savings on this would be 27 months. So after 27 months, we are actually gaining money back on this system and saving. So we would actually be saving around 20 grand a year on this as we go through after we get past that first hump of the hardware purchase. Really, the hardware is what slows us down in the payback period to get those pieces of equipment in. But this gives us a large amount of efficiencies as well. Right now, if you want to do something as simple as change the buttons that are programmed on your phone for speed dial, you have to call IT. You can't do that yourself as a personal user. New systems allow you to do that. You just log into a web page, put in whoever you would like. We can change things like our schedules and our weather announcements and stuff like that on a per department basis, which right now is countywide, all or nothing, meaning we usually don't do it because that hits the jail too, and the jail has a thing when they can't get phone calls. The biggest one though is the ability for us to put a mobile app on any device and have your work desk extension be there. Right now, if I call you from my cell phone, I think the only ones who knows who it is Brandy and Robert because I've called them on it before. Otherwise, you're going to see a random 701 number and probably let it go to voicemail. With the app, it'll come up as my desk. When you call my desk, it rings to this too. I can do all that kind of fancy stuff through there. There's a lot more to it that allows us some flexibility for areas such as the zone, which would allow us to potentially integrate text messaging, which has been a constant request for them to communicate with their clientele, as well as Veteran Services, who has asked the same thing. Sometimes they just communicate better that way. Right now, they're doing it either through county cell phones or even worse, potentially personals. This way we can have these tools available to our staff. The other nice thing I want to make sure to point out is the company that we've selected for this after a large-scale shootout and multiple vendors is called Voxtel Sys. Voxtel Sys is headquartered here in Fargo, right up on the corner of 25th and 7th, which it looks like an industrial park because it is an industrial park. But they would be our headquarters. They include all of our support, all of our things like that, right through here in Cass County. So at least our fees and our things are maintaining within. I would ask or provide any questions or things like that.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. Couple of questions. We talked in Philadelphia about this, and so as you've shared here this afternoon, is this a revision on what we talked about from a standpoint of, because we did talk about putting handsets back on this, and I said, there's no way we're gonna do that. And so it's the modern world and the cloud, to your point. I thought, where's Teams fit into this discussion? Because, you know, that's what we use at Xcel Energy. There's no longer handsets at anybody's desk. I don't have a headset. I just talk through my computer. I have an office. I get the open cubicle side of things. But when you say that Teams is not an option, we're going local with gear, even though I don't like to be hamstrung by Microsoft, said that on record. Local company, are they going to be around in 3 years?
Voxtel Sys has been around for 19 years now, so it's not just a fly-by-night kind of thing. They are a platinum partner of the provider they are using of this, and as they're worldwide, they only have 7 platinum partners. So in this company that we're using, the back software of this would be a system called...
Platinum partner of Microsoft?
Nope, of a system called 3CX. 3CX is a phone system that originally started on-premise and has migrated to the cloud over the years. For longevity standpoint, I deployed 3CX myself nearly 12 years ago at the school when I worked there. And it's been around and maintained and updated since then. It has a large scale setup. Some of their largest customers would be McDonald's. So,
I think, at least, I think what we need is some kind of action here, obviously, to put you in the right direction, but I also think we need a comparison to Microsoft as an option.
I have to ask one question, and I'll be very blunt on this. We looked at Microsoft, and from a cost perspective, it was rough right to begin. But we also looked at Microsoft purposely as an option against, solely because so much of our other communication goes through that. We're firmly back into the too many eggs in one basket kind of solution when you figure your email, your phone, your Teams, your SharePoint, all lives in the same environment. And when Microsoft tends to have an issue, they do not tend to be isolated to a single system. My biggest worry is we would have our phones down, our email down, our SharePoint down, and everything by using all in one tool. Now, that being said, we have looked at Microsoft licensure. From a cost perspective, the one difference is Microsoft licenses by user. So each person here has to have a license to be able to have a phone or an email or anything like that.
Which we would have today, right?
We have that already for our emails. This would be an additional license on top. And currently at that, it depends on how many features you want. They don't give you one size fits all. There's buckets. It's a minimum of $7 for the lower end, and it goes up to $19 a month for the higher end. 3CX, however, does it differently. They license by concurrent phone calls. A large amount of our phones here, especially at the jail where we have a large amount of handsets, are not assigned to a person. They're assigned to a location, such as a pod or a conference room or an office. Those phones right now would cost us nothing until they start making a phone call where they cost against our concurrent limit, which means we can have up to, let's use 100 concurrent phone calls. As long as we don't go over that, we have no issues. With Microsoft, we would be paying monthly simply to have that there to exist. That is one of the downfalls when you find, especially in government, K-12 and areas where you have a large amount of shared common area phones, that those cost you money if you're using them or not on many of these systems, with 3CX through Voxtel Sys being one of the few that does not. So when I ran the Teams comparison actually, and I don't have the exact numbers in front of me because this is a couple months back, but it was usually about triple the cost annually.
Ms. Madriga?
Thank you. Thank you for the information, Bob. Would it make sense at this point, because we're trying to determine a budget item for this project as a whole, and then as you get closer to the project, you would more determine which vendor meets the best needs, but at this time, just coming up with an idea of what your budget for a project would be, and then as you go through the approval for the project, that's where you can go deeper into what's the best fit, especially for a cost and procurement.
Hearing right, so you approve a placeholder and come back with additional information for final.
Correct. I believe that the purpose of the budget is really to allocate some funds for this project, and then you guys can determine what would be the best vendor or equipment that would go forward.
My only worry with that is that the differencer in licensures will change that placeholder dramatically. So I don't want to say, hey, let's put 100 grand in there and come back and be, actually, we need $250,000. That's,
You're requesting 147.
yes, I am. And that would be based upon replacing existing handsets with existing handsets 1-to-1, because that would be where we have to talk with our department heads to determine what makes best sense for their departments. For many areas, I do feel that soft phone is the preferred and should be the option. To give you an example on cost there, a handset runs $130. A decent wireless headset runs around 75 to 90, depending on how the tariffs are doing today. And a decent wired headset runs around 35. So if we come back and if the finance department says we just need wired headsets, well, that's 25 extensions that went from 130 to 25 each. But I don't feel that is correct, and I'm ready to take feedback on this. It's not my job to tell them how to do their work or how to maintain it. It's to help support them. And if they tell me that this simply won't work for their environment, it would be working through that with them. So it's, I'm trying to plan for worst case, which I understand with our rifling is the direction we're trying to lean away from. I am trying to be cognizant of that as much as possible.
I didn't get a choice at Excel.
I can't speak for Excel because I don't run there.
This is what you get.
But I agree with that, and that's the option of we provide minimal choices, but choice in some environments can be touchy.
Commissioner Flacco?
Early on in your remarks, you indicated that the state of North Dakota has adopted some or all of this. Is this a system comparable to what NDSU uses then?
NDSU currently uses Zoom. When I earlier commented they were using a VIA IP office phone systems in 2015, which is the system we currently are on as well. That was where we coincided with North Dakota. That has branched out since then. They still have a VIA in some spots. They have Teams in some spots. They have NDSU in some spots, or I'm sorry, Zoom in some spots. It's been a bit of yes, it's been rough.
Yeah, I mean, just because what I experienced there was awful.
What I've found, and just to be very blunt, I've been through quite a few of these things. Teams is a great unified communications platform. Zoom is a great webinar platform. And we've bolted phones to them primarily driven by the pandemic. They were like, people are going home, they need a method to do this. The system we're proposing is a phone system. It was designed to be a phone system without everything else bolted to it, which allows for a single point of clarity and not all these extra feature sets that tends to get in the way. I share the opinion that using a computer for the system here, a soft phone, is a fantastic direction and one I would fully support, and I would hope working with our department heads that that would be the majority selection. But I don't want to speak for other departments how they do their work.
You want a balloon? Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve $150,000 to a yet unidentified system that would eventually have to be approved by the commission as a whole.
Second?
Yeah. For discussion and just for your own information, if you go through the existing 2024 budgets, the phone system does get billed back currently to all departments individually. I pulled those totals from 2020, oh, I'm sorry, for the existing 2025. We're at $136,000 right there. So with this system, just to keep in mind, I'm including our entire yearly cost of the phone system in this to allow us that idea. So at the current presented of 147, that would include all the hardware needed, hosting, support, all of the implementation, and the entire year's service, which we'd have to work with Sarah there to be able to claw back approximately $130-some thousand to be reallocated.
Has that been accommodated in a budget?
Hasn't been
savings?
touched.
Is that the intention?
The
That
idea
we
would be
do that?
working with the finance office, that's why I have this sort of as a big lump sum. We have historically done per budget or per departmental budget solely because we do it based on use, because it is based on long distance. If finance makes more calls, they get billed more for those calls. With this being flat rate across, it becomes much more difficult to either we divide it by the amount of phones or something like that. But I would want to discuss with finance what is the most appropriate, as well as with the commission, moving forward if we were to move to something like this. But for transparency here, this does include lock, stock, and barrel, the phone cost.
Okay, I believe then the intent of the motion is, as it was, pardon me, as it was stated, but I think finance should accommodate the change in the overall budget, so that reduction, we gain that decrease in 26, and then you come back with a little more information and discussion with department heads on the exact need for, what type of device, et cetera. And I presume this would take some time to implement?
It would take some time to implement, and depending on how much discussion and things like that, that would be my only concern is the clawback from finance would rely upon when this would be implemented and we'd flip over. Because we'd be paying the existing rates up until the date we flip to the new one. So say we do, 8 months worth, figuring that we're gonna go live in April or something like that.
My head went, if the company you're talking to and what we agreed to they will have that implemented and ready to go first of the year. So it's a clean budget year with the new system?
They would be more than happy to do that. It just comes down to, do I get approval to order existing hardware on the next year's budget early, and when will it be delivered and all that?
I would assume in 45 days you'll be back to us.
We can work on something.
And then the other question is annual support agreements.
Support agreement is included in this.
For how many years?
So this is done at a yearly rate. We can go up to multiple years on there, and that does actually lower our monthly trunk thing. So
Are always so prepared.
honestly, this is the third time I presented this. It's the
I
first
remember
time I've
last
gotten
year.
this far. But our phones, let's just be blunt about it. Our phone system will die. Currently, the vendor that we work with support, they're out of Duluth. They don't sell it anymore. So
We talked
we're
about
on
this last year.
yeah, we're on borrowed time, and just because it works today, I can't promise it'll work tomorrow.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Henderson, just so that the finance office understands what's requested for this 2026 budget, we are under the impression that this is the cost for the county-wide phone system, so we're going to adjust each phone expense in,
So if we do the balloon number presented out here, and with the expectation that we can implement this by Jan 1 and be able to do a clean flip, then yes, it would basically be a clawback of the existing phone systems budgetary of the 136, which I'm not sure what they'd be for this year. I'm assuming roughly the same.
is that the
Yeah.
direction?
Yeah, the only potential would be if there's whatever unexpected that comes back that pushes it a month or two, we would have to bill it to Tech Trust or something like that, so.
Yeah, the budget adjustment. Sarah,
Yeah.
do you have another clarifying question?
I was just wondering, I heard a motion about 150,000 an adjustment, but I don't know where.
Oh,
7414.
is that not the requested budget amount?
That was the section. You just rounded up from the request.
Yeah.
Okay, so leaving it at,
Leave it as is.
that's all I need to know.
I'm probably the least technical, capable person in the room. But
We can have Olympics. We'll
did
figure
I
it out.
understand you to be going from department to department to determine whether or not they want a computer or
Nope.
a phone or a
So where this comes down to play is, right now, it's assumed when you start here, you're gonna get a physical handset for a phone on your desk, because that's really the only options we've had. What this would be is going through department by department and say, would you want a physical handset? Or would it make better sense for your flow? And preferably, it's more, tell me why you have to have a physical handset, not a, you get that by default. I know.
They don't, they don't have an option for a handset.
There's going to be at least 180 handsets at the jail. I guarantee it, because that's gonna happen.
So you call me at work, it rings on my computer, and I hit answer, and I talk to you through my computer.
Yep.
What options he's talking about, some folks on our team would need a headset so that conversation is more private, at least from the incoming call. And so that's the headset piece.
And just think of like up in state's attorney, if they were all talking out loud with speakerphone and such back there, that would be outrageous in that space. But headsets, things like that, let's just call it is what it is. There's going to be some staff that are gonna say, physical handset, I have a doctor's note saying I need it. Yeah, we'll deal with that as it comes. But
I think you get the intent of the commission is to fewer the options,
Yep.
with rare exception. And if there are cases on a wall in the state jail or
the jail's gonna be a white elephant just for what it is, so. Now, one thing to keep in mind with going primarily towards headsets, it is a long-term higher cost. Primarily because if you leave your position, we can sanitize and move a handset pretty quickly. A headset's been in a person's body. We're not gonna sanitize those out. That's gonna be a replacement kind of thing. But we can deal with that, and we don't have that huge of a turnover.
it's the modern era.
I'm with you on there.
We have a motion?
Mr. Chairman, to be clear,
Just a
Mr. Captain.
FYI, I got a handset in my office there. 5 years, I've never used it.
Spot on.
Oh, 100%. There's
Commissioner
some
Flacco?
spots.
just to be clear, the motion I made was on, to approve as presented, except to move 7414 to 150,000, but for non-specified items at this point.
More information to come
Yeah.
for final
Yes,
approval.
yes.
Yeah.
What your recommendation is. You're happy.
We can make it work.
And has that had a second?
Wait, so that was the entire budget plus that?
Yep.
The entire budget, adjusting 147 to 150,
Yep.
a $3,000 increase, with the caveat, the decision on the vendor.
Commissioner Vettel, any questions? Is it clear?
Yeah, I think I'm very clear on it. I do agree with the idea that, as it is coming back, clarity on what exactly we are choosing. But I agree with the motion.
Roll.
Commissioner Flacco?
Aye.
Commissioner Brightling?
Yes.
Commissioner Bettel?
Aye.
Commissioner Grinberg? Commissioner Capitan?
Aye.
Thank you.
Third. Yep.
Good afternoon, Commissioner
afternoon.
Grinberg, Commission. I'll present three budgets today. The Recorder's Office, NDRIN, which is the North Dakota Recorders Information Network, and the Document Preservation Budget. I'll start with the Recorder budget. Overall, there's going to be a $51,000, 152 decrease from the 2025 budget. I had the wrong figure in my memo, so I didn't get updated when I made some adjustments. I apologize for that. So the news is better than actually what I have in here. That was accomplished by taking out the salary and benefits for one position, which we have not filled. If we happen to need that one, I'll come back for a budget adjustment, but I wanted to keep that one. We lost a position last year, and I'd like to keep that allocation available, but we did take the numbers out this year. So unless document counts go up a lot, I won't be filling that, but I'll come back if I need to.
Let's make sure the minutes appropriately reflect that.
And then the other adjustments in my budget, I was able to juggle things around a little bit, taking away from some, adding to others. So I was able to decrease and take a look at some other line items. And so I think we're in good shape there as far as, you know, what you were looking for. And we've had good retention in our office. So right now we're really, you know, pretty efficient and productive and haven't had to spend a lot of time on training. So that certainly helps us out with our daily work in keeping up with things and not having to hire. So on to the, I don't know, do you want to approve? Any questions on the
I think
recorded
we'll take
budget?
them all three, but maybe
Okay.
just go through them all three, and if somebody
Okay.
wants to separate one, they can, but
Okay.
in the interest of time, we can do that. No objection.
On to the Endron budget then. Endron continues to be a good source of revenue for North Dakota counties. This coming year, in 2026, our surplus payments will be reduced to cover the cost of our fraud alert product that we've implemented. That was released in January of 2025, and we've had good reception to that. Cass County has 11,000 subscribers to date. So and coming up in September, I'll be presenting at a senior citizen forum and getting the word out to some more people. So I expect that we'll have another surge in subscriptions after that. So on to the document preservation budget. That's the source of our the money for our technology needs. And our document preservation. We'll have a net decrease in expenses there of about $52,000. Bob has done a good job with our technology needs. He's, you know, being more efficient and helping us out there. So we've had a good experience with keeping those costs down. So, and as far as the document preservation fund, you know, we maintain a pretty decent balance in there, and we have some exciting things coming down the pike with regard to AI and things like that. Some of other counties are starting to work on those sorts of things, so we're waiting to see how that shakes out, but keeping an eye on that to see if that can offer additional efficiencies for us. So any questions on any of these?
Questions? Appreciate the great work.
Okay.
Is there a motion for all three?
Motion to approve all three?
Second.
Seconded, discussion,
All right, thanks.
take the roll.
Commissioner Grinberg.
Aye.
Commissioner Capitan.
Aye.
Commissioner Breitling.
Yes.
Commissioner Bettel.
Aye.
Commissioner Flacco.
Aye.
Okay, I think Matt is there he comes. You're up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would have loved to be coming up here to tell you guys I'm getting a net decrease in my budget this year, but there was some legislation that passed this spring that's going to change that for my department. We are essentially just seeking an increase for a new requirement for postage. We now have to send out assessment notices to every parcel owner in the county. We're also required to send out PRC approval and disapprovals for the primary residence credit, that is. Those are both new line items for us, and we're looking to increase our postage budget by $46,500 for that reason. That is the largest change to my budget. The rest of it, like I said, would have been a net decrease, which would have been nice to tell you guys, but instead I get to come up here and ask for money. So I will stand for any questions, but that's basically the entirety of my budget.
I think we talked about, still don't have to do color, but we have to have more printing, right? That was the.
Additional notices by the legislature as it pertains to primary residence credit as well as the estimated tax statements, I
Yep, they're gonna be assessment summaries, essentially showing the previous year's assessed value and the current year's assessed value, which has to be sent to every property owner in the county.
Darn legislature.
Yeah.
All right,
That's what I say.
entertain a motion.
I motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. Commissioner Flacco,
I'm just behaving.
roll then.
Commissioner Flacco,
Aye.
Commissioner Brightling,
Yes.
Commissioner Vettel,
Aye.
Commissioner Grinberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Capitan.
Aye.
We would, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining our team.
Yes, absolutely.
We'd love to do public health now if we're ready.
Well, I bet you'd love to do that. Good afternoon.
Jennifer, how are you?
Commissioners. Doing well, thank you. I have an updated form if I can approach
Sure.
to. This was in your packet on the. Thank you. No, thank you. It was in your digit package that was sent earlier, and it's just an updated number on the City of Fargo General Fund contribution to the Fargo CAS budget this year for 2026.
We always had a saying, Commissioner Flacco and I in our years in the legislature, back in the day when paper was more predominant than it is today. No three-hole punch, two demerits.
Big holes.
But not the,
I don't know where you
not
wanna-
the case now.
I don't know where you want to take that
No,
out, Commissioner
not-
Grinberg.
It was a flashback. It was a flashback. Oh, another set of documents with no three-hole punch. Where's the punch? Anyway, proceed. I digress.
No worries. So you did receive a package earlier via digital, and we had made a proposal after meeting, well, we met with Robert and the finance team. We asked for a city administrative meeting prior to this commission hearing, at which point we proposed a budget that would have been 10% overall increase to Fargo CAS Public Health, and we talked through the budget at that point and reduced it down to a 3% increase, staying with the tax cap that has been put on us from the state for all areas and municipalities. And with the 3% increase to our budget year over year, we are asking then for $1,248,000. Our previous ask was going to be $1,333,000. We anticipate with 2025's budget, you will see a return back to your budget as well with unspent funds. We are behind on our spend so far year to date. I just saw you a couple of weeks ago for the mobile medical unit ask and permission granted on that. We anticipate money coming back to you from that. But right now, our budget looking for 2026, you will see that we continue with the majority of our finances are going to total salaries and benefits. Portion of our health officer, who's a contracted position, our school nursing that goes out into the county in Kindred, Central Cass, Northern Cass, and Mapleton, and then just operating expenses.
Flacco?
Chairman Jennifer, what have you heard from the city of Fargo regarding their portion of the budget? Have you had any kind of feedback from them?
We have, and we had our preliminary budget hearings on Monday with city commissioners. My budget, of course, had lots of conversation, and the concern there is the city of Fargo is feeling that they are overpaying a portion of our budget in regards to all of the people who use Fargo CAS public health resources. As to what the county should pay or what should the state pay or other entities, other metropolitan municipalities like West Fargo or Horace and other services. So with that, I know last year when I first came into this position, we had a conversation at that point. And it was a conversation about what should those other entities pay, and it would be in response to their population growth, and at what point Horace or other contributor factors within the metropolitan area would increase their contribution to Cass County, which would then offset and pay to us. I don't know, and I don't have the power to say how much you collect from those other entities. When we have services delivered directly to West Fargo, for example, within our environmental health program, there are services that are paid for directly by West Fargo to our environmental health services because of the number of entities that they are licensing and permitting has increased as West Fargo has grown. So that is a different offset to the budget as well. When we look at the overall population between Fargo at our last census of 2023 is 133,000 people. It is 67% of Cass County's population.
And second question, so is it the handout sheet that you're requesting, not what was in the packet, so you're looking
I just
at
wanted to update.
1.25?
Correct. I just wanted to update, there's a number change on the City of Fargo General Fund dollar amount is what we had changed. We're continuing to make refinements to the budget, decreasing our projected spends. So it's just an updated number that you had in your packet we're updating.
The budget request is still 1.248.
Okay, that's,
That's just, we rounded it up.
Yes.
I just,
Questions?
Chairman, I would move to approve the amount of $1,248,440 for year 2026.
Second. Captain, did you second or? Okay. Yes, I'm sorry. Yes. Moved and seconded, discussion? Hearing none, we'll take the roll.
Commissioner Capitan?
Aye.
Commissioner Grinberg?
Aye.
Commissioner Flacco?
Aye.
Commissioner Brightling?
Yes.
Commissioner Bettel?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will try and knock off a couple action items here. Commissioner Capitan and Breitling and I have a diversion authority meeting at 3:30, so we'd probably like to be out of here by 3 o'clock. Sarah, you gonna lead us through a debt service or Brandy? Page 405.
Basically, we only have one debt service left. It is 319, I believe it's called Wild Rice. It is funded primarily through a special assessment that has been put on properties, and therefore that's where the revenue comes in, and we pay the bond fees with that. The only other item we have in there is a deficiency that we're required to hold.
Questions? Pretty straightforward. Commissioner Flacco?
The only thing I had on that, on page 405, is the payment will be, final payment will be in 2022.
I will bet we reused an old sheet when we were putting it together, and that's from a previous bond.
It is yearly. At present.
I was going to grab the debt service file to see exactly when it ends for you.
Stand at ease for a moment.
It would end in May of 2035.
Okay. Other questions, comments? Points of order? Hearing none, we'll take the roll.
We didn't get a motion.
I move to approve.
Oh, I thought we did.
Second.
Moved and seconded. My apologies.
Motion for 319 and 320.
319 for three, solely for 319. That's what I have in front of me.
Okay, well, hearing no other questions, we'll take the roll.
Commissioner Bettel?
Aye.
Commissioner Grinberg?
Aye.
Commissioner Capitan?
Aye.
Commissioner Flacco?
Aye.
Commissioner Brightling?
Yes.
What would you like to do next?
To approve 320. Fund 320.
Second,
Second.
discussion? Take the roll.
Commissioner Brightling?
Yes.
Commissioner Bettel?
Aye.
Commissioner Grinberg? Commissioner Capitan?
Aye.
Commissioner Flacco?
Please. We can move to the internal services, the health fund, that is on 421. I'll let everybody get caught up. So currently, the health insurance fund is budgeted 421. So before we get into the health insurance fund here, this is for Cass County's self-insured health insurance for our employees. It is currently budgeted at a premium increase of 7.7%. Recently, we did receive a couple of options from Brown and Brown. The actual premium options will be made at a later date. However, for budgeting purposes, we do have 3 options that we could potentially move the 7.7% down to. The first option is 4.6%. That would be the highest potential change that the commissioners could go for. That's leaving our stop loss at $100,000. So then that would be a 4.6% premium increase across the board. The fund balance would stay the same because it is set on a health insurance trust fund balance to net zero. The increase is from interest revenue. The impact to the rates for an employee over a year for a single plan would be $32 for employee and children, would be $109 for the year, and employee and family would be $288 a year. The second option, which is the option that's recommended from Brown and Brown, and I do think that that's eventually going to be at least the minimum that you will go to, would be changing our stop loss to $125,000. There's no member impact on that. And then that way the increase to premiums would only be 3.3%. For our employees, the impact on an annual basis would be $20 for an employee-only plan, $85 for an employee and children plan, and for the family plan, it would be $216. The lowest percentage increase is 2.7%. That does have a number of changes, so that would have a little bit of a member impact. So my recommendation, along with Brown and Brown, would be for ease of budgeting, to budget at the 3.3%, with the assumption that you would go towards the $125,000 stop loss. However, none of those decisions do need to be made today. It is just simply setting what the increase is going to be in the budget. So my preference is to budget a little higher, and if you want to go down lower, you can at that point.
So your recommendation is?
My recommendation would be that you're probably going to end up going to the $125,000 stop loss, so 3.3%.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Flacco.
Mr. Chairman and Brandy, so we have this X amount of dollars sitting somewhere. Are we earning any interest or income off of that, or is that prohibited by rule or law or something?
No, the health insurance trust fund earns interest, and you'll notice at the bottom of the fund balance sheet on 421, there is an earnings of $146,000. That is your interest earnings.
That's off of that, okay.
Correct. However, the caveat, as a fund balance decreases, the amount of interest would also decrease, as well as interest rates fluctuate, they could go up or down.
On the single rate for a single employee, they're still, and that's not at 100%, is it?
The rate for an employee only, they're paying 6.3% of the premiums.
Other questions? Hearing none, we'll take the roll.
Commissioner Flacco?
Aye.
Commissioner Brightling?
Yes.
Commissioner Vettel?
Aye.
Commissioner Grinberg?
Aye.
Commissioner Capitan?
Aye.
What else can we clear today?
We can do the dental, and the dental is nice and easy on 427. Dental operates in a similar manner to the health insurance trust in that it is self-administered. This year, in concurrence with Brown & Brown, they have recommended a 0% increase. This plan has been performing very well. Yeah, I guess it is just the budget as projected. Again, it does earn interest revenue. And we budget based on, I think at this point, a $10,000 over expenditure. But this is a very healthy plan. And yeah, the impact to employees and the employer would be a 0% increase.
Do you have a motion?
Motion approved.
Second?
Second.
Discussion? Letting Taylor catch up on her keyboard. We'll take the roll.
Commissioner Grinberg?
Aye.
Commissioner Capitan?
Aye.
Commissioner Brightling?
Yes.
Commissioner Vettel?
Aye.
Commissioner Flacco?
Aye.
Next.
Motor pool, that is on 426. And this one I'm going to pass off to Sarah. I don't think we planned for a purchase, but possibly we have.
Chairman and Commissioners, this fund is pretty simple. Basically, we buy motor pool vehicles, different departments use them, and all the gas and expenses are billed out to them at a set rate. The only thing we have done is last year we added 2 new black, larger vehicles to accommodate more people, especially for trips back and forth to Bismarck, and those are now being depreciated. There are no plans currently to add any more motor pool vehicles into this fund.
Do you have a motion?
Move to approve.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Take the roll.
Commissioner Capitan?
Me?
Yeah, it's you.
Understand it. Yes, aye.
Capitan? Commissioner Vettel?
Aye.
Commissioner Grinberg? Commissioner Flacco?
Aye.
Commissioner Brightling?
Yes.
Next.
Let's see here, we have the human service zone, if you want to go through that one quick.
Sure, let's do that and then we'll adjourn for the day, or recess for the day.
Human service zone is on page 318. I'm sure you are all well aware that the state pays all expenses for the human service zone. So basically, everything that's in this fund gets paid by the state. We just approve it.
And are we at 100% of all costs?
I will say we are at 100% of cost that we can determine the exact amount. We currently get it based on a percentage in that cost allocation in your guys' fund in the main commission area for any accounting staff, so my salary, any IT staff, building usage and the like.
Questions or a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Seconded, discussion? Hearing none, we'll take the roll.
Commissioner Brightling?
Yes.
Commissioner Vettel?
Aye.
Commissioner Grinberg?
Aye.
Commissioner Capitan?
Aye.
Commissioner Flacco?
Aye.
Okay, good work today. We will recess till tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock, Commissioner Brightling. And Taylor and Brandy are gonna work on a sheet that we have left, action items remaining for tomorrow when we come back together. If you have particular other thoughts or requests, please be prepared. As as I understand, we'll act accordingly with our decisions tomorrow, and then the full budget will be approved at the August 4th commission meeting. Brandy, anything else to add to the process?
I think you've got it under control.
Any other comments? Okay, we'll recess till tomorrow morning and have a great afternoon, and see you at the Diversion Authority meeting for those headed that way.
Thank you.